Welcome to Vino with Vito, and let's not forget Nina. And today
Hi.
we have a seller and a buyer of mine,
Yep.
Nick Deanna from
Yes, how are you?
Fairfield.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Nick.
Bought a nice bottle of wine, layer cake, bourbon barrel aged. Wow,
Ooh.
our favorite.
It is
Red.
our favorite.
Red.
Red.
It's red.
It's red.
It's
That's it.
red.
It's red.
It's our favorite.
If it's red, it's
right?
for us. That's it.
And I want to start off. I met Nick, maybe about a year and a half ago. Okay.
You want me to open it?
And we got to become pretty good friends here.
Yeah,
And Nick actually listed his house with me.
I did.
I met Nick in the post office.
Yep.
Right in
Yeah.
Fairfield.
Oh, yeah.
We started talking. I said, "Wait a minute, you look familiar.
Yeah.
I see you on Facebook. We're friends on
That's
Facebook."
exactly what he
Oh,
said.
really?
Yeah. And
You
we-
weren't like mailing your postcards out?
No.
No,
Just,
no mailer.
No
No mailer.
No
No mailer.
nothing. And Nick goes, "Wait, you're Vito too? You're the realtor?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And he goes, "You got a card?" I said, "You know what? Of course. As a realtor, we always carry
Always.
business cards." Gave him a card. I said, "If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to contact me."
That's right.
And he did.
That's it.
Now, how
And you
was-
didn't hound him, right? You didn't
I
hound
never
him?
hounded
I'll be honest, he really didn't.
Never hounded him. Nick actually called me and said, "Hey, if you have any houses, that are going to come on the market as far as ranches or whatever, I'm going to put an addition. I want a colonial, and I have my house here in town. If you can come take a look." And I went to take a look at it.
Nice.
We put your house on the market, and the rest is history.
What was
Yeah.
your first impression of Vito?
Well, listen, I'll be honest.
Oh, nice.
Shamelessly, I'll say, Vito wasn't the only realtor that came to my house to look at it.
Smart. You should always do that.
Sure. Listen, I'll never tell anybody to only stick with one, always get a second opinion. But in real estate, they seem to get 3, 4, 5, 10 opinions. So that's also another conversation. But I went with Vito because it was just as we are now. We sat down, we talked. This is what it is. It wasn't pressure. Do it now. The market's changing.
Yeah, he
This
doesn't
is-
put an act on for anyone.
No,
He is who he
he's
is all the time.
exactly who
Yeah.
he is all the time. And that's, as you can see, he's kind of my people, and it made it easy. But that's why we went with Vito. I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
Listen, let me also mention, this was our first home that we ever bought. So you
Thank you.
already feel that I'm over leveraged, you're already
Of course.
nervous. And then it's
Yeah.
like, now we're going to sell our first home. This is, where are we going? What are we doing? And it was just very smooth, calm. Vito has a very,
He does.
suave. There's
Wow.
no.
You do. You
Wow,
do.
that's that's
And
good.
One
he
of the
didn't pay
favorite
me to say it,
pastimes
so,
we
you
have.
know. Yeah.
Salute, guy.
Salute.
Cheers. But
One of our favorite pastime, well, the other people in the office, we love to hear Vito on the phone.
Yes.
Love to just sit in the office and listen to you on the phone.
Oh, that's
and then I try to go outside. and
Sure,
talk. No,
That's
You
fine.
know it's serious when he goes
when he
outside.
steps outside. Yeah,
When
that's-
he
that-
takes speaker off. And
Listen,
goes
that's an
outside.
Italian move. We talk in public here, and it's like, I got to step
so,
outside
yeah.
for a minute. That means either something's happening or business is coming.
Yep.
Either one,
But there you go. Well, when we listed Nick's house, and I'm glad you used me, and then right after we met and we started talking, we looked at the house, and we're sitting there, and that I realized that I grew up with your mother-in-law,
Correct.
and I haven't seen your mother-in-law in probably over 40 years,
Yep.
Angela.
Yep.
And it was
Oh, how
crazy.
funny,
I'm
yeah.
like, wait a minute. I know her.
Yeah.
That's Angela. We grew up in Patterson. We used to hang out.
Oh, that's
And
so
I'm
funny.
like
Yep.
40 some odd years. And your wife looks just like
Just
her.
like they're
Just like
they're
her.
like
That's
twins.
how I realized. I'm looking at wait.
They're
a
like
minute.
twins. It's unbelievable.
that's
When I
so
told her,
funny.
I said, "Hey, we're gonna be working with Vito." She was, "Oh my God, Vito
Aw,
Contuzzi!"
she
And then the
remembered
flood
you.
of memories come out, because they hung out together.
Yeah.
They.
40 years, a long time ago. I was 7, right?
Yeah.
47. Yeah, 7.
Those are good stories, too. Patterson stories are good stories.
But only some can go on the podcast.
Right.
Realistically, only a few make it to light.
only a few make it to light.
Yeah.
So I gave the one thing I liked about when we listed your house, Nick. You sat there. I gave you my honest opinion, how we should do it, the way we should do it, what we should put it on for, and what I thought we can expect from it.
Yeah.
And you listened.
Yep.
Teresa listened. We put the house on the market, I believe, for $699.
Yep.
We did a open house weekend.
When was, like, how long ago was this?
Not that long.
Not that long ago. Probably sold Carlos maybe not even a year
No,
ago.
we
right?
sold it in October.
Oh, I was
October,
around
that's
for
right.
Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos
okay.
Drive.
Yes.
Beautiful house,
Yeah.
by the way. You
Yes,
did a
thank
great job
It's
there.
all my wife.
And
I have to say.
we got we got multiple offers on it, and we got you well above asking
100%.
price.
Yeah.
And what did you think of that transaction with the buyers and, everything? How did it go? Did it go
Yeah.
smooth enough for you? Were there any hiccups that,
Yeah, listen, first I'll say you didn't say this is what we're going to do. You said this is what I recommend you. You still left it up to us if we wanted to do the old-fashioned style of, well, list it for so much
bit
more to
higher.
build in a little negotiation price so I can come down, which that's just not how it works anymore. So we put our faith in Vito, but that's why we booked you, and that's why we wanted you, is because I said he's not going to do wrong by us. So that was the first thing. The process was super smooth. I mean, listen, we were blessed to sell in a time when, the market was insane, and it still is
It's
great.
still- I was gonna say, it
it's
still
still
is.
out of control. So that was cool to see. It wasn't like I hope someone's going to come. It was like, I hope we can get everybody in today to show the house. So that was great. But once we found the buyer and Vito presented the offers that we had, he went over each one with us, which was also very helpful. Look, I know a lot about real estate, but there's little idiosyncrasies that none of us
Yeah,
understand or
because
know.
terms are super important, not just the highest price.
Extremely. Just like we all mostly do is when we get to the car dealership, we read over all those, we just sign. We sign our lives away. But, Vito went through and explained everything. And once we picked, which offer we were going with, it was so simple. It made me want to do it a couple more times over, to be honest with you. But it was really, honestly, it was easy. And all the recommendations that you had for us and that you gave us, and everything was exactly what you said it would be, and way more than we could ever hope. And I think that was a lesson for me and my wife too. It's like, look, he's the professional, not
Yeah,
me.
sometimes you just have
Put
to
your,
trust.
we
just
all
have
watch
to trust.
HGTV and think, I could do this. No, you're wrong. This is, like when we go to the doctor and we tell him how to
Right.
treat
Like,
us.
I Googled it, and I think it's this, not what you tell me.
Correct. You're the professional, so we trusted you, and
Good.
it paid off tenfold.
I'm glad to hear that. And that's
You
what.
sure you're not paying him?
No,
No,
Just
no,
kidding.
no.
I'm
Under
just
the
kidding.
table, but yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Put that back. But that's how, I'm teaching Nina the business. She's been in the business a couple years, and every time I hear her on the phone, okay, or talking, and she reminds me so much of me too. Where
Aw,
where
that's a nice
you do,
compliment.
because you know what? I think by you listening the way
Yeah.
I talk to the people, or by us going back and forth, hey,
How
what
many
do you think
questions-
of that?
Have I asked you?
But again,
Sometimes like 12 a day.
well, you need to ask those questions, and sometimes I still ask you questions. What do you think? Because you have to do that. You
Yeah.
have to go back and forth.
Yeah, it's nice to have a newer perspective, but it's also
Right.
nice sometimes when, there's questions that sometimes nobody has the answer to.
Right.
I've asked questions sometimes, I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, never heard of that. Meg's like, oh my God, I have no idea what that is. And I'm like, how did...
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
parking lot that. It's going to come up later
It's
on. We'll
gonna-
Right?
go
I
through
mean,
the-
it's
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
because
Yeah.
that you've been doing it so long and still there are issues that come up that,
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes they put stuff in there that we don't know about, and but
Listen, sales is a forever growing thing too.
yeah.
That's the beauty
not
of
going
it.
away.
No, you're never. If you think you're the expert, you're wrong. There's no way. It's always forever. You can always learn something. Which I think is
Always.
yeah.
wonderful, you know?
And even like when you go give somebody a price on a house, 25 years ago, you can go there and say, hey, this is a CMA. This is what I think your house is worth. I would list it for X, and I think you're going to get Y, and we'll leave room for negotiation, right?
Sure.
But we were able to do that years ago because that's how the real estate
Well, you always went in
market
below list price.
Right, right.
Maybe there was one other person at the open house, maybe,
Yeah.
and you went in below and you negotiated in between. You weren't fighting with 5, 10, 15, 20 other
20
offers.
20 other offers,
Yeah.
right.
You kind of, and if you were negotiating and there was another offer, you kind of knew what was going on. They would keep you in the loop because no one wanted you to walk away. Now
Yeah.
it's like
Listen, I'll be honest. Before, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but before Vito found our new house for us, me and my wife be standing in the bottom of the driveway like, what do you think? We have 2 kids. We're trying to figure out where we're going to live, I hope, for the rest of our lives, because I don't now again. But, it was like, and people at the bottom of the driveway, like, what's it going to take to shut the open house down? I'm like, I know. I got to look at this house again. I'm Italian. I got to bring my father here. We got to make sure, he's got to touch a wall, pretend like he knows what he's doing, and, it's structurally sound. Yeah, no, it's good walls. But it changed so much from when we even bought our first house on Carlos Drive to when a couple years later we're selling it, and it was like, oh, this is a different game than when we even bought it. So I felt archaic when I was telling some of our friends who were buying, like, no, you'll be, and they're like, what are you talking about? There's 12 offers. We have to give our best and final by Monday. I'm like, when did you see it? They go, today.
Yeah.
Oh.
We had someone, it was a Sunday, they had a Sunday open house, and they called highest and best by 8 p.m. on Sunday. The same day.
Yeah.
It is. Like, you feel bad, especially for first-time home buyers. You feel bad because it's a lot of pressure to make such a big decision in such a short time.
Do you see that changing?
Right now,
no.
Yeah.
Because there's no inventory. We just had an open house on this weekend, and there were 47 families. Like, I have a buyer. She's looking to move. Her landlord is selling, and they had 47 families at the open house.
Wow.
That signed in. That wasn't private showings.
Sure.
There were other showings. This is just who came to the public open house on the one day that they had it.
Yeah, it's still insane. I have, even right now, my middle daughter's looking for a house, and we can't even find her anything, a house, a townhouse, a condo, whatever. We actually went into an open house on what was it, Sunday, and there were a bunch of people in there, but the thing that got me was this condo was on the market for over a week. This is the second open house, and I go to.
Did they drop the price?
No, they left the price the same, and I go to the agent. I go, so I guess they're going to be negotiable on the price or whatever. It's not, human nature.
Yeah, you just
right?
assume.
Oh, no, we got offers on it. We're already well over asking. This is Montclair, and he's going on and on and on. I'm looking at him.
But why?
Why do you still do another open house a week later if you got multiple offers on the house?
Looking for more of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, you're not doing justice for your seller now, because if you have multiple offers, if I was the person that had an above asking price offer on that condo, and you're doing an open house a week later and you're waiting for me to go up, you know what? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen at all.
And so many times you put an offer in and say you're $60,000, $70,000 above. You waive the appraisal to a certain amount. You limit the inspections. Super flexible on the closing date. No home sale contingency, and you don't get it. And then you reach out to the listing agent, and you're like, "Hey, can you just let me know where we landed? This is, we put in a couple offers. We thought for sure this was a strong offer," and then they don't even talk to you. They don't get back to you. They don't talk to you. Nothing.
Didn't that just happen to you?
It always happens to me.
But the reason I say
it always happens to me.
It happened the other day.
Oh.
And she's talking about it, and she's mentioning the town and the house and everything, and the agent. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm not going to mention agents' names on the air.
Not on the
and I said, wait
but
a
after
minute.
we're going to talk.
I go, wait a minute. And I said, I know that agent. I said, I got to deal with him now because we did a highest and best, and I went well above it.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who called me, texted me this morning? That agent.
Get out of here.
And guess what I did?
Was it a return text?
No,
you ignored him?
He texted me looking for something for our deal. So I said, oh, this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I call him up instead of texting him back. You know me, I like to call instead of text. And I said, hey, so-and-so, did you have a listing on this other house? Yeah. They're related to the other person that your people are buying. I said, one of my agents in my office, actually a real good agent, and you kind of blew her off. Oh, no, I don't do that
I
to
have
anybody.
the proof.
Yeah. Of course.
He's like, I don't do that to anybody. I treat everybody.
We go way back.
But it was funny. He goes, I treat everybody the same, all the buyers.
Yeah,
I said, let me tell
right.
you, you didn't do this.
Yeah.
Because you tried it on me, it didn't work on me, but you did the same thing to her. well, we had 12 offers or
Yeah.
whatever, and
just
both
fine, just answer
that's
me.
what I said. And he goes, and we did final and best on 2 houses Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm like, why would you do both the
Right,
same
'cause it was
day
the
at
house you
7
had-
p.m.?
right.
So now you got to worry about this one.
And he sent 2 different replies to me. He thought I was 2 different people. Okay, so it got me a little worried.
Did
I'm
you
like, do you
answer
have
back
the
for
right
both
offer?
just to see if
Do you,
one got a better
do you-
deal than the other? You know.
But I
That
just
was the same. I'm the same person. He was. But it was aggravating.
Listen,
to
as
say
a
the
recent
least.
seller, I feel like we have forgotten that buyers are people. And we've
Yeah, and-
lost respect for buyers. I'll be honest. Listen, I'm going to say it truthfully
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, okay, this was it's become such a natural thing now. It's like, all right, this was the first round.
Yeah.
These are the
And
initial
sometimes
offers.
buyers
and it's
used to care about sellers used to care about their situation.
Sure.
No one wants to know anything anymore.
yeah. Listen, everybody writes a letter and sends a picture, and at this
by
point,
the way, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, but now it's. I didn't even think of them as people. It was just dollar amounts, and you forgot about that part of it too. Because I was just on the other side as a new home buyer, trying to get it, and being like, "What can we do?" And they're like, "There's nothing."
It is hard though, because you try your best for your buyers to advocate for them and get them the obviously you can't guarantee you're going to get them anything, but you do your best, try to get information from the other person, and you feel really horrible because they want answers from you, and when those agents don't answer you, you have no feedback for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought it was a really great offer. I mean, you couldn't have done any more. The terms were the terms. They were really good. And someone came in. I don't know if it was higher. I don't know if it was better terms. He won't answer me.
He answered me.
Oh.
He answered me. It was what did he say? Oh, it was higher. It was much higher. And I'm
Much
like,
higher.
I could have been much higher. Nina,
Sometimes
It is.
and you think there's no way someone
is
they
going to
do,
pay
yeah.
that.
Listen, before the house that we're in now, that Vito got us, we tried to get another house, and we went in what I thought was way aggressively heavy.
And
like
I
me
even
and my
told
wife,
you don't do it.
me and my
Remember?
wife
On
sitting
that
there
other
going
one.
like, we really want to get out of our house. Like, yeah, okay. Like, let's go $65,000. Like, to me, that's, again, with my Italian heritage, my father's like, are you I have to
insane?
lie. First of all, I have to say it's half price before I even tell him
Right,
what the actual price is. And he
is.
still tells me it's a bad deal. So if he only knew how much we actually
Oh,
spend.
it's
but
like when I shop and I tell my husband
Similar.
no, that
I
was on sale.
yeah.
That was 50% off.
I think that
40%
happens
off.
to me. Yeah.
My wife one day came home and she goes, shopping all these bags, and she goes, I saved over $1,000.
Oh my God, how much
today.
did you spend to save
She goes,
$1,000?
Because they had this huge sale.
gotta spend it to
50
save
off,
it.
I was gonna say, she had to
60
spend a
off,
lot.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I said, imagine if you didn't go shopping, how much you would have saved.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Or my thing is, I'm going to return that anyway. I'm just
But
gonna
that's what my
return it
wife does
anyway.
anyway. She brings everything home,
Yeah.
tries it on, and now they have nothing in the store. So she orders
Yeah.
everything online, tries everything on, and then I'm at UPS, I'm at FedEx, I'm just returning.
Yeah, we're on first name basis here with the Amazon guy and the FedEx guy. It's
I gave the UPS guy, I think I gave him a bottle of wine, a Christmas present, and feels like he doesn't bring you presents. You pay to have this stuff delivered to the house. You're acting like he's doing you this huge favor.
Listen, I come from the old school. My parents still give gifts to the garbage. The garbage.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I didn't know that you were supposed to do that. I
Of
worked
course
for
you
a
are. That's how your
I
bins
worked-
end up at your doorstep
I
over there at the
worked
garage
for a
door.
garbage company for years, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
And my boss was like, "What do you mean?" Because it was around Christmas
What do you
time.
mean you
Every
don't
people
give
were
gift?
coming to the office, dropping off
That's it.
envelopes for
Yeah.
the
Oh,
drivers and
yeah.
stuff. Like we had stacks of everything.
They come with what
And
they
then I
call
said, "You're
la bouche.
La bouche,
supposed
still,
to, you're
la bouche,
supposed to tip your." He's like, "You don't tip your garbage man." I'm like, "No, now I know their names."
Sure.
They get tipped.
We know
by
names,
I just
birthdays,
didn't know.
everything.
I didn't
yeah.
know. The mailman, Nick, our mailman, he's great.
The UPS driver one day, I'm driving home. There's boxes there, and he's in the front. He's bringing out more boxes. Hey, Vito, how you doing? Good. I go, nah, don't tell me, more boxes. And he starts smiling at me, right? And he gives me the boxes. He puts them right in front of the garage. He leaves. I had to get something from the house. I come back out. I'm about to get in my car. The same UPS driver comes, parks the truck again. He comes out with another box. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I had to do it. and he gave me another box. I was dying. I said, but it's great. It's great. But getting back to where when you bought your house,
Yeah.
when you were 65 over,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
in a flood zone.
Yep.
Okay. It was a great location, but you
Oh,
were
so
still.
you got that house?
No,
No.
he
Oh,
didn't
you
get
didn't
it.
get the house.
We didn't.
It was in a flood zone, and I remember they wanted you to waive the appraisal.
Which we had no problem with the
Right.
work that we were going to
do anyway. But
Right.
I suggested don't waive the
Correct.
appraisal because, again, you know what? It was going to appraise, but there's no need to waive it just in case.
Correct.
And I think that was the best thing we did because you didn't get that house
100%.
in a flood zone, more money than what you paid for now.
Yep.
Okay. And things work in mysterious ways
Yeah.
where we're here, again, I treat you like you're my son. Hey, Nick, this is how I would do it. Teresa, this is how I would do it. And I love it when you guys come and
course.
ask me those questions. And we didn't get the house. Somebody else got it. Great. Let them get it. Meanwhile, there was water in the basement.
And that's when you know maybe it wasn't meant to be, when you're not devastated.
Stated.
But at the
Right.
time, you think it is.
At the
course,
time,
yeah.
he kind of thought he was
Yeah.
upset. I said,
Oh.
"Don't worry, we'll get something else." And then the house you have now,
Yep.
I knew it was coming on the market. Okay, I made a phone call or two. We got in the house, and right away, here, we put an offer. We're gonna get. Nick was like, "Here, I'll even go 10 more."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nick, don't worry, but you don't need to." Again, this is what I think we should do, and we'll wrap it up, get it out of attorney review, and we're done. And that's what we did. And you know
exactly
what?
what we
We saved some money there too. And by the way, you're building a beautiful house.
Thank you.
Nina, you got to drive down Henning on in Fairfield. You saw it yesterday with those doors.
Oh,
That's his
Yes,
house.
that's my house. Yes. Those are my wife's doors.
He was driving me around town because we have to get new siding on our house. So he was showing me houses. And then he brings me to your house, which looks nothing like my house. And I just sat there and stared at it.
Yeah, those are my wife's doors.
I'm like,
yeah.
those doors.
Yep, those
I
are my
love
wife's
those
doors.
doors.
Yes.
Beautiful house.
Thank you.
That whole house, though, everybody's talking about it,
Oh,
how
thank you.
nice it is. You're around town. Hey, did you see that house they're building on Henning?
Like Vito, the siding on my house isn't going to make
Yeah.
make it look like
Listen,
that.
I'll tell you, it's not a shameless plug for Fairfield, but we fell in love with the town.
Yeah,
and
it is
that's,
a
I
good
think,
town.
something else, too, is look, for me and my wife and the people that we know, Vito's our guy. I mean, he's the godfather of real estate for a reason. Like he just said, 2 phone calls and we were in a house, or when we lost that house, 2 phone calls and Vito got us the answer as to
Right.
why we lost the house. So it wasn't like the people that I know that are like, I don't know why we did it. And I go, well, ask. You can find
Hey,
out.
sometimes we try, okay? We just don't get answers.
But Vito does. I tell you, he always gets the answers. But and we wanted to stay in this town, which is tough because there's so, as we alluded to before,
they're
there's
so
such a
little.
limited amount
Yeah.
of inventory.
Did he
Right
say if
now
it was
there's
his
4
offer or
houses.
not?
What's that?
Did he tell you if it was his offer or not?
No, I didn't even ask. At that point, you know what?
Can I ask the same?
But what ends up happening with a lot of these agents, okay? They'll blow you off or whatever. Your offer was probably second in line. He didn't even tell you, okay? I had an agent 2 weeks ago, okay? And didn't get the house, wouldn't call me back or then would text me. Then, and I dealt with her years ago when I had a listing and I made sure she got the house, right? And treated me like a second-class citizen.
Sure.
I'll have an answer by tonight. Nothing. The next night, mangaboo. The third day, I get a text, not even a call. Oh, just want you to know we're going with another offer. They're doing this, and this. I said, okay, thank you, no problem.
Sure.
I tell the buyer, sorry you didn't get the house. Oh, it was a nice house. I really liked it. No problem. Meanwhile, more houses start coming on the market, right? A week later, I get a phone call this time, not a text from that
How
agent.
interesting.
And she goes, Vito, the deal we had, we never got out of attorney review. Are your people still interested, in the house? And would they, buy? I'm saying to myself, you know what? I wouldn't even want to deal with you.
Yeah.
Don't even want to.
It is. It's
Don't even
terrible.
want to deal with you. And thank God the girl goes, you know what? Nah, I like the other house. We're putting offers on
Yeah.
that.
And I have another one. Like remember I sent you the picture yesterday. I was like, what?
Oh,
does
yeah,
this mean?
I have
And you're
no
like, wow,
idea.
never saw that
Yeah.
before. I asked Meg, she's like, where do you find these houses?
Houses.
Yeah.
I know.
So I call the agent, doesn't pick up his phone. I send him a text, hey, can you just do me a favor and call me back on such and such address? I just have a couple questions. Doesn't call me back. Doesn't text me, doesn't call me back. Call him again today, doesn't answer his phone. Send him another text. Hey, just following up. Can you please tell me what documents I need? Because it said you needed to fill out a bunch of documents before you even saw the house. Could you call me back and let me know what documents are needed? Lockbox code is this. That's it. No answers to my questions. Nothing.
You gotta love.
I'm like, I have
these agents out there.
55 questions for you.
Sure,
You need to
sure.
call me.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going
I've
on.
taken
with
my
this
wife
property.
to a few of those houses where she's like, what are we looking
Yeah,
at? And I was like, I don't know, but you have to put this mask on and you have to sign this waiver
Right.
of health.
And the
She's
agent.
like, what's in here? I go,
won't-
I don't know, but we're going
the
to figure it
agent
out real
won't.
quick.
I've been to one where the listing agent won't even stand in the house. She was standing
Outside.
outside
Yeah.
at the edge of the street, like in the driveway.
Like, I don't want to crowd the inside.
Still with a mask on.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, you guys can go.
Yeah, you guys can go in. Just watch out for the basement.
I went into a house one time, and they opened the door. Okay, she had a couple dogs in there, and naturally she put them in a room or whatever. And
But
the
you love
customer,
dogs.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love dogs.
Yeah.
And the customer, was coming in. Thank God they were relatives. But the house, when I tell you, they opened the door, the air that I got coming out, I was like,
That first breath.
this was before we were wearing masks
Sure.
or whatever. We walk in the house. I'm like, I get into the living room. I don't even make it into the kitchen. I started gagging. I'm like, I got to go outside.
Yeah.
The buyers actually, stayed in the house and walked through. I don't know how the hell they did it, but
Did they buy
ended
it?
up. No.
No.
I think what's crazy is though, like we saw a couple. I remember seeing a couple houses. We'll leave the towns out, and the agents, but like it was. You'd walk into the basement, you smell the mold, you see the
know,
mold, and
right.
they go, "It's just a little
It's
mold," and everyone's like, "Yeah, okay," and I'm like,
sometimes it gets a little damp.
but I'm like, hold on a second, are we at that point now where we're like, it's just a little mold? You know what's behind? You got X-ray vision, you can see behind that wall. That whole house could be mold.
yeah.
You have no idea, but it's
Mhm.
like. Someone's
yeah.
gonna waive inspection anyway,
Right.
so who cares?
And they change things. We talked about this in another podcast, but they change things now after they accept your offer. They accept your offer, then all of a sudden, but you have to waive the appraisal.
Yeah,
But you have to
waive
take it
it.
as is now. What? And people do it because they don't want to
Desperate.
lose the house
Yeah.
and they're afraid nothing else is going to come up.
Yeah. People. That's when you got to be a little leery too, as with these agents. Say, hey, what the heck, man? We're not going to do that. Why? If you had your buy, you wouldn't expect that. Come
Sure.
on, why you're
And everything
why are you
goes so
doing
much
it?
smoother when you can have a nice
relationship,
working
right,
with
the other agent.
Pick up the
Absolutely.
phone, ask them normal questions, just be real, and
It's also just simply as transparent.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's not really difficult.
It's
It's not even
not.
being honest. It's just being transparent.
Oh yeah.
This is what it is. This is what we're walking into. Vito always briefed us before we walked in somewhere, like, hey, just so you know, XYZ, XYZ. Cool. So it wasn't like a, huge, this is, we knew already. Let's keep it moving. Let's look at what we
Right.
need to
And that's
look
why
at.
you pick up the phone more than you text because they
Yeah,
won't put
right.
cer-
Something will get
like,
lost in
cer-
translation in text. Like I just had one we actually just closed on, and speaking about how you get that good relationship with the other agent is, there were home inspection issues, okay, and the agent comes back and says, hey, this deck is basically falling down, which I went to look at it. Yeah, it was.
Sure. Yeah.
You got mold in the attic.
Yep.
And I'm looking, yeah, it looked like mold. Yeah, it could be, could not be. Wasn't tested or whatever. But there was a lot of money that should have been given back. And he goes, you know what? He goes, Vito, at least, we got a good working relationship.
Sure.
He goes, what do you want to do here? Should I have the attorney write the letter? I said, look, let's keep the attorneys out of it. You and I, what are you people looking for? You think, 15 grand would do it. I'm like, you know what? We're already past that
Sure.
stage or whatever. 15 grand, I think, is a little steep.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do. I know my sellers are nuts. They really don't want to give
Yeah.
anything back. How about, let me see. So I get him 5 grand. So he's going back and forth. He goes, what do you think? Can you get me, a little bit more, maybe 10 or 75? I said, look, it was like pulling teeth
Yeah.
to get you, 5 grand.
Yeah.
So, see what you can do. Come on,
Sure.
let's just get the deal done.
Yeah.
Sure enough, calls me up the next day. Hey, we got a deal with the $5,000.
There you go.
Now you call the attorney.
Yeah.
Write an
Well, I
addendum.
know.
You leave them out, and you're good.
I know.
Because
I've done that multiple times.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? Because first of all, sometimes the attorneys do not even go back to
Yep.
their clients and explain anything.
Yeah, they have a
just
power trip,
answer for
too.
them.
Yeah.
So they answer for them. They don't know what's going on. The buyers or sellers sometimes don't know what's going on, and it delays things.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it'll take the attorney 3 days to respond to your
Sure.
question. So, now it's
Just
like
killing more time.
you get on the phone, let's figure it out, come up with a number, this and that, and then just tell the agent or the attorney to write it up.
It happened when we were selling our house.
Right.
When the attorney sent that first letter, and I go, what are we talking about?
Right.
I'm looking around this house. I'm like, this house is done. Where are we coming up with these figures? Because it costs more for what you're saying repairs than I paid to do it initially. So the house is 3 years old. What are we talking
Yeah.
about? And then Vito did the same thing. He told me, like, why don't we just talk to them? And they were like, oh, we didn't say anything.
Right. They don't, most of the time,
They didn't even know.
They
They were
don't
like-
even know.
And they were almost, when I talked to them, they were like, I'm sorry. We don't want to mess this up. And I was like, no, listen, the little things, I'll fix it. No
Right.
problem. But like
I had a house, and you know how many times? So I had the seller,
sure.
and the buyer was calling me constantly because his attorney wasn't giving him the correct information, not giving him any information at all. He couldn't get in touch with his agent, and he would constantly call me. I'm like, I just don't understand how people do business.
They don't answer. They don't answer their phones. I had one years ago where I had an offer on a property. This is going back in the other peak, 05, 06, markets like crazy. So I got an offer on this property. I call the agent, no answer. I text him, no answer. I said, what the hell? I got an offer. What am I going to do? I email him, no answer. And now I know he got the email.
Sure.
Then I send a contract over through email, text him, you got a contract. Nothing. I'm like, these guys. And it was just almost as bad as it is now. But now sometimes they'll call you back 3-4 days later. But back then, guy never called me back. I look on the computer, all of a sudden the house is under contract. I'm like, this son of a gun.
Yeah.
What the hell? So what do? I said, okay. I waited a couple days. I go on the MLS. I pull everything he's got listed, right? He's got a house there listed that's 7-8 months old. A dog.
Sure.
Not going anywhere.
Yep.
Now, I call him, I text him, hey, I have somebody interested in this house, give me a call back. I just hit send. By the time I hit send, my phone rang. Hey, Vito, how you doing, pal? And he's going
now
on
we're
and
friends. Yeah.
on and on. He's going, you got a buyer for that house? Oh, thank you so much. It's a great house. And I just let him talk. Once he got done, I said, listen, I'm going to say this one time. You miserable and whatever, every
Sure.
word that came out of
Sure.
my
Every
mouth.
word in the book.
I said, I had an offer on your property a week ago that everybody else wanted. You didn't even have the courtesy to call me. Now that you got a house that you can't sell, you're calling me? Oh, what are you talking about? I said, I go, check your email and check your texts. I go, because it's still on my text.
Yeah.
Well, it's
because
the same
that
thing with
keeps
that
a record.
guy. He didn't even respond to me. Sent him an offer. Please confirm receipt. Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Text them. Hey, I sent you an offer a few hours ago. Could you please let me know that you received it? Nothing. The next day, I call him. He's like, well, I responded to everyone whose offer I got. I'm like, okay, but you didn't respond to me. Would you like me to resend it? Well, what was your offer? Yeah. I got it. Are you serious?
So you didn't respond.
You
But
didn't.
are you serious?
Yeah. People just make me laugh.
It takes, you know what? Now you don't even have to type anything. You hit the reply button and responses come up for you. Received, thank you.
Are you getting people sending you these voice text messages now?
What do you mean?
Like that you like text, not speak to text, like the actual, like my voice, like, hey Vito, I want to offer you.
I made that.
I keep getting these from, I have a business, whatever, but I keep getting, I'm like,
I did that
I need
once,
to see the
and
proof of. I need a record of what you're sending to me. I don't remember what you're saying to me.
This is funny.
I listened to it one time.
Then it
Poof,
deletes
it's
And
gone
then it
into the
disappears. Yes, it
metaverse or
disappears.
whatever.
You have to hold it and drag it or something.
yeah,
but
too
by the
much
time
for
you
me.
figure that
Too
out,
much
it's
for me.
gone.
Yeah.
Right,
But I
right.
did that once, and I thought it was typing it out.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
good.
oh, hey, I like did my, hey, Jess,
Period.
da-da-da, ha, 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 because I thought it was going to type
Yeah,
whatever I
yeah.
was saying. I was talking really slow, and it sounded like a moron.
I
And
love-
I hit send, and she was like, what did you just send? I'm like, what just happened? She was like, you just recorded yourself trying to.
Yeah, and there's no coming back either. You can't bring him back.
No.
Can't
But I said,
rescind
thank
it.
God
No,
it
no,
was
you
her
can't.
and not
Can't
somebody
rescind
else.
it. Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we're not going to say the word, but I texted you yesterday. We'll
Oh,
show you
yeah,
later.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I was like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I didn't mean to say
I've
that.
learned I have to proofread those voice to text.
do, because it
just
changes
to make sure.
everything.
But then I think to myself, like, I don't say those words I texted anyway normally, so I'm not sure where it came from.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the person will be like, how often are you saying this word? I'm
word
like,
that it changed it.
Never. I'm sorry. Like, that'll never happen again. But it's, we trust a little too much in technology.
Yeah.
We do, and you always got to make sure you have autocorrect on your phone
Oh.
too when you're texting, because sometimes if you don't, you might say something that you really,
Yeah.
really
You-
don't want.
Well,
to
I'll
say.
say, so this happened again. And
Seems to
I
happen. Seems to happen
all the
often.
I
time.
know.
to
She says
you.
just
So,
one
because
time it happened to
I'm
me,
always
but-
driving, so I'm always trying to like talk into the phone, and then I'll hit send, and then I'll stop at a light. I'm like, oh my god. I put it was supposed to say environmental issues, and it wrote I have mental issues,
Sure.
and sent it to my client.
Sure.
And your client probably said, "Yeah, I know
Replied,
that.
no, we're
We
aware,
un-
but we
we
still want to
understand.
work
we
with
said-
you.
right.
We understand.
Sure,
We already got our offer accepted.
We
We'll
know
stick
that
with
much.
you.
Yeah, we're already listed. I think it's going well. We'll.
That's a good one. I never.
Oh yeah,
You got mental.
I could show that text to you too.
No, that is too funny. Too funny. But yeah, with this with the technology, with the texting and everything, I'm not a big fan of texting. I always just love to pick up the phone.
Sometimes I like texting
and
for
talk.
proof when they don't get back to you. A bunch
Yes,
of times.
but a lot of times, people want you to text, like
Yeah.
you said, for proof, just in case
Which, by the way, doesn't hold up anymore.
Doesn't
'cause
hold up,
texts
right.
don't count.
Oh, it's
Court
just for
of
me.
law.
It's just for
No,
up here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just It's
Yeah.
just so in 5 years I
Yeah.
can take a screenshot of that conversation when you say that didn't happen. Yes, it did.
It did.
But the problem,
it.
the other problem with texting is too, if somebody really pissed you off.
Yeah.
Now you got to answer that text, and then you're talking, and you want to say something, and you actually say it, and
Yeah.
then it might go out by mistake, and all of a sudden
Listen,
you're
I know
like,
you
"What the
like
hell?"
Vito's phone calls. You ever see the angry Vito text? Sleeves get shot, the shoulders go up. We're angry. You know right away when we're, it's
The thumbs move really
fast, fast, aggressive. Yeah.
That we.
It's also how, like, you text me something, and I read it as, like, what are you doing? Da-da-da. And I'm like, I call, what's the matter? Nothing. Why? Oh, I thought you were angry. I go, no, I just texted you. What's up? I'm like, oh, my bad. Sorry.
So again, that's why I'm really
You shot that one.
not a big fan of texting.
Yeah.
But the old days was great. You know what? You picked up the phone. Before that, we had beepers.
But there's such
before
a
the
sense
cell
of urgency. You
phones,
feel like
You're
everything
dating
has to be
yourself
done
there.
The
The rotary
immediately.
phone.
the rotary phone.
Sure.
We had that.
Vito's been making deals since the Oregon Trail. I mean, it's unreal. He was sending pigeons at one point, but he'll get it done.
But everybody now, the problem is you send somebody a text, you want a response back within like 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't get it.
That's the problem.
But that's the problem. Years ago, you waited and waited. Oh, they'll call me back, or you left a message on their answer machine at home. When they got to it, they would call you. Now it's like send them a
Immediate.
text.
Sometimes
where the hell are
we'll
they?
be down the shore on the beach, and when you can't see because of the glare, I could see who it is, but I can't really read the whole message, and I'll leave. I'll leave the beach so I could read the
Just read the
message
message.
and respond.
Wow, that's good of you.
I drive home from the shore to
Sure.
show
Not
a
leaving
house
the
for
beach.
5 minutes.
That's it. My problem is if I go on vacation or wherever I am, my phone's always on. People are calling me. I'm on the beach somewhere, and the phone rings, and I'm getting a tan. I answer the phone. We're talking, and then we'll talk about a house or try to make a deal. My wife is looking at me. The kids are looking at me.
Yeah.
What the hell are you
Yeah.
doing? Hey, a realtor's life,
Sure.
even
really
when you're on
doesn't matter.
vacation. I was in Italy. and with a 6-hour time difference, okay? I was up at like 2 a.m. calling somebody in the U.S. and it was 8 o'clock at night here. Then it's 6 a.m. there. I'm up ready to go like I am here, and I'm like about to make a phone. I'm going, oh shit, it's midnight. I don't want to wake anybody
Vito's at
up.
1 o'clock
see,
in the
that's
morning
nice.
in Italy
I
on
have
the
clients-
balcony. Pronto, chi parla?
I have clients that send me Zillow listings at 2 a.m. My phone will go off. I'm like, check my phone. I'm like, oh, that couldn't
Who's
wait.
dead?
Right.
Right.
That couldn't wait.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking. Meanwhile, somebody's saying.
Then I'm like, now if I respond, that looks weird. Now I'm up for 2 hours, but I
Right.
can't really respond because I feel like that's a little.
Well, people also have no barrier anymore. So if you
No.
respond, that conversation starts at 2 a.m.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yep.
it's like, and then the other pet peeve I have with the texting is, hey, what's up? Send. What are you doing? Send.
Oh, the
Are you going there?
multiple
Send.
messages,
Just
yes.
send one
Just
message.
one message,
Hit me up.
yeah.
One block. When I get 16 of these,
I know.
I'm,
No, I
I'm
know.
deliberately
I'm
not
not one. I'm
responding to you.
one person. Sometimes I'll do a little return space if it's
Listen,
really
with certain
long.
friends too,
Just-
I know when the phone buzzes, I'm like, that's so and so.
If
That's
it
how
buzzes
he or
like
she
5
texts.
times, right?
I know
It's
it's
like
her,
ding,
and I'm not
ding,
rushing
ding,
over
and
to
you're
get
like,
the
it's the
phone.
same person.
Now,
Yeah.
now I'm not going to answer it.
No.
Me, I answer it all the time. We're eating dinner. The phone's ringing. I pick up. This is Vito. We're here. This is Vito.
But even
My
when you
kids-
can't talk, if you can't, you put it to voicemail and you'll text. I'll call you
Right,
back.
I'll
right?
call
Text,
you
this
back
is
or
Vito.
whatever.
Yeah.
This is Vito. My kids. That's a joke with my kids. This is Vito. You want to buy a house? This is Vito. That's what my kids always say. This is Vito. You
so
want to buy a house? You want to buy a house? But this is the business we're in. I love this business. I mean, I could tell you stories of showing houses, what we went through. The best one, I remember one house I'm showing, okay? You're going to get a kick out of it. It was where we grew up in our old town, right?
Okay.
I go show a 2-bedroom house, all right? It was a 2-bedroom house. And it had 1 bathroom upstairs, and I think they had it listed as 1 bath. And I'm like, okay. The girl wanted to go take a look. They open the front door. He opens the door, walks in. You have a nice living room there. Saying, oh, okay, this is cool. He goes, come on. The owner, come on, I'll show you. All right. Go through the living room. We get into the kitchen. Nice size kitchen. There's a door there. I go, is that a pantry? He goes, oh, no. Opens the door. There's a bed, some kid on a computer, okay? And he's on his computer doing something on the computer. Guy looks at me. He goes, I rent it, $500. I go, $500.
Was it bigger than this table?
No, it's probably the room was probably the size of it. I'm like, $500. Okay. Now we got to go upstairs. We go upstairs. He's got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Cool. All right. No problem. Not thinking anything else. Now we come down the stairs. He goes, oh, I got the basement. I said, oh, okay. We're going down the basement. He's got a set of stairs. They're like this wide, right? I'm like only one person could go down at a time. He goes, oh, wait. I got to get the keys. I'm like, keys? We're going in the basement. The door's open already, right? We go in the basement. We're walking through. There's another door. He knocks. No answer. Opens the door. Another bed, whatever. He goes, I rent $500. Okay. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Now he's got $500 upstairs. 500.
And he lives there.
And he lives there. With his
Not
family.
bad.
Right?
Not
With his
bad.
family,
Not
right?
bad.
So I'm dying now, right? My customer's cracking up. We keep walking. All of a sudden, he opens a door. There's a toilet. There's a sink in the middle, right? And then he opens another door. There's a shower. Like, wow. So now that's another full bath, right? Even though the toilet's here, the sink's in the middle,
Yeah.
the shower's over
Yeah.
there, right? So we keep walking. I'm like, where's this house going? It's a 2-bedroom house. Keeps going. There's another door. Knocks again. Opens the door. Nobody there, right? But again, there's another bed. He opens the door. I go, I know.
500.
The guy goes, yeah. I'm like, well, this guy's
Yeah.
getting $1,500 in rent, living there.
Yeah.
Who knows how many people are living there, how many kids,
Sure.
why the school system. So,
Sure.
you know,
Sure. Of
now-
course, everything's permitted.
everything right.
Yeah.
But now that's a good thing about where I'm happy that they do the COs now because of that. You know how many
Yeah.
how many people would do that? Come on. You got a 2-bedroom house with probably 15, 20 people living in there.
Most people don't care. If they don't bother them and they're
Right,
paying on
could-
time,
they
don't
could
care.
care less. They could care less. But the thing that cracked me up, every room we opened, 500.
That'd be nice.
Knock, 500. Imagine you doing that at your house. Imagine you.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Now I walk in, I say, "This one cost me 500.
Right.
This one cost me 500." Every room
Times.
every room I walk into.
But that's how it is. Us as realtors, you see so many different things out there.
Sometimes it's,
I go into another house, right? And it happened.
which is why all the empty bottles are here.
Sure, it's a necessity.
I walk into I ring the doorbell. There's no answer. I had an appointment set up. Okay, I'm not going to say the town, but it was the town you live in, Nina. But this was many years ago. I ring the doorbell. There's no answer, so I'm saying, okay, we can go in, right? So I open the door. We walk in. All of a sudden, I see this old German Shepherd, can barely walk, and he's just sitting there going like this. I'm like, oh. I'm like, the people, I go, you afraid to do? No, we're good. We can go in. I felt like saying, well,
I am.
Really
I'm not a huge fan,
but
sure.
you guys go first.
Yeah.
See if he attacks you before he attacks. So we walk in. The living room is a colonial. There goes the living room. The dining room on the right. We walk into the dining room. The dog went to the bathroom. A big whatever, right
Nice.
on.
Beautiful.
Right on.
Welcome to your new humble abode.
Carpet.
Carpet. They had carpet
Perfect.
underneath the table, and I'm like, oh my God. We keep going through the house. We're walking. We get upstairs. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. I get into the master bedroom. I open the door. The owner's in the bed, just hanging out. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were on. Oh, no. Come on in. Come on in. I'm like, come on in. You think you get out of bed and go clean the dog poop on the damn carpet? But this is the stuff
Come on in.
we run into.
Yeah.
People sometimes selling their house. They
Yeah.
really don't care.
Listen,
I mean, you go to your house, it's spotless.
You always have
You're
to knock.
spotless.
You
We're
just
spotless.
you just have to knock. Like you have to. I mean, you did. The guy was upstairs. But I'm
Yeah.
saying when you get to a house, even though you know no one's supposed to be home, there's a lockbox. You always have to knock. I've walked in on someone vacuuming that didn't hear me come in. I walked in. It was the lockbox was outside of the house. I was in a town that I'm not very familiar with. It's way up north. But so looking at it, she's like, "Oh, it's the last one." The other agent's like, "It's the last one on the right." Okay.
Yeah.
Open the lockbox. Open it. Some guy sitting there in his underwear on the couch. He's like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
I'm surprised he didn't
He
say,
said-
this must be my lucky day.
He said, "I own this." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "There's a lockbox outside." And he's like, "I've been here for 2 weeks." I'm like, well, "You better tell your agent to take your keys out of the lockbox if you live here. And where's the other one that was for
Yeah.
sale?"
Can
Like,
you
I don't
point me
even
to
know.
the one that I'm supposed to be in.
But it's crazy. I had one where it was a Center Hall Colonial, right? And I make an appointment with the owner. He goes, sure, no problem. It's the same thing. There's a lockbox. He goes, I think my daughter might be coming home for the weekend, but I doubt it very much. He goes, just ring the doorbell, whatever. I said, all right, no problem. So I get there thinking nobody's home. I ring the doorbell, ding dong, nothing. I said, let me do it one more time. Ding dong, nothing. Take the key out of the key box. I take the key out. I open the front door. I open it. All of a sudden, I see a girl running butt naked straight across the top upstairs. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, thank God I rang the doorbell three
Twice,
times.
right.
She must have been in the shower, heard the doorbell.
just-
You'd think her dad would
Slowly closes the door and backs away.
We're just gonna wait out here for 2
We're gonna give her 5 minutes.
We're going to give her 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But listen, me and my wife, before we bought the house that you sold us, we were considering maybe stay in our house and get a shore house or whatever. Me trying to live way above
Jersey.
our Jersey, the Jersey thing, the little peninsula looked just like Rome. It was beautiful. But we went to this house and I thought I found a deal. I said, Teresa, my wife, this is a deal. This is a no-brainer. I text the agent. He goes, it's one of these, which I'm not familiar, these virtual agents, and they exist, but they've never even been in the house. They just list it. And I'm like, anything I should know? And they go, no, you're good.
because they don't know probably.
Okay.
They've no clue.
So we go. So we pull up to this gorgeous house. It looks brand new. I mean, brand new. It's it's got to be 3 floors. I'm saying, this doesn't add up. The price. I'm like, all right. I said, maybe this is just somebody wants me to have this.
Right. I mean, someone needs to get rid of it.
You never
quick.
listen.
You
There's
just don't know.
divorce.
Right,
Things happen.
Right. You don't
okay.
know.
So we start walking up the steps. Foot goes through the 3rd step, and I go, okay. It's the beach.
Right.
The salt
The
really
salt water, it
kills
rots
things.
everything.
You should see what happens to the car. I open the door. Well, first of all, I couldn't get the door open. So I'm like, what's going on? I have to kick this door open. I get in and I go, oh my God. There is mold everywhere. The ceiling is on the floor. Now the pictures are a finished home. So I walk in, I go, oh my God. My wife
And
goes,
there's nothing you need to know, according to the agent.
Nothing you need to know. Head right in. Now, my wife was pregnant, so I was like,
yeah, that's
hey,
dangerous.
why don't you just, hang out? So I said, stay over here, you're okay. We're walking through the house, right? Now, my wife's funny, because she's like, oh, this is nice, because I only take her to just dumps when we're looking at houses. I learned from Uncle Vito over here, try and find a good deal and, fix it up. And we're going through, and I'm just, you're starting to see things. And, all said and done, I go, all right, we can get the mold out of here. And for the price, I mean, we're right on the water. I mean, this is unbelievable. And my wife, is that supposed to be like that? And I go, what now? Because all day, she's like, what about this? What about this? And I look, the house is separated 6 inches. It's a prefab. I see the lag bolts.
Stop it.
And it's literally splitting at the seam. And
Usually
I'm like,
those prefabs are pretty strong.
apparently not. And, I couldn't blame it on the salt water. I'm like,
I don't know.
and she's
Salt
like-
water does ruin everything.
But now me being this, I'm like, we could fix this. What's
if you
a little
push it
wrench
from
job?
if you push it from this end and I push
I'm like,
it from
I could
this
see
end.
cables. I'm like, I don't know. But no transparency. Just,
That's terrible. And
Go
you could
for
get
it.
hurt. You could probably have
well, then
gotten hurt.
that ran through my mind. I'm like, Teresa,
Right. If
we
you
go
weren't
down,
pregnant,
maybe
I
we
would.
own the house scot clear. We don't have to pay if I go down. And
Yeah.
say, but you don't say nothing. And you got people walking. My wife's pregnant. There's mold.
Yeah,
there's
that's
this. The
dangerous.
house
They
is
don't say
separating.
anything.
We go to the dock. Thank God I didn't step on the dock because literally put the foot on the board into the water, and I was like, God. Like, you ever see
Time to
Summer
go.
Rental? Like that whole, this is what we're looking at, but you just never.
So you're probably not
No.
going to use that agent to sell any of your.
I'm gonna say no, being that I never met the gentleman, but he was pretty sure there was nothing wrong with that house, and it was a good deal.
I had a house it was just the other day. I called the agent. I was like, oh, it looks like from the floor plan you have to walk through the office to get to the master bedroom. Is that true?
Sure.
Oh, no. It's a totally separate entrance. I go there to preview the house. I'm like,
Right through.
right through the office. I did
It
not know that.
Right through.
Yeah,
the
it showed it right on
right through the office.
So I said,
told her.
and I said, well, maybe the floor plans are wrong, and I said the
Sure.
floor plans look like you have to walk through the office. No. I said, okay, maybe they're wrong.
Yeah.
I go, I'm like, no, right through the office.
That's it. You got a lot of these agents don't care, don't.
But have you been in the house before?
May-
You should
maybe
be in
they-
the house if you.
Maybe they haven't even been in the house, but who knows? But this is great. I
This was
really
fun.
enjoy
Fun.
it. Nick,
Thank
I
you for having
really appreciate
And
it.
wait, you make cannolis, right?
There, there you go.
We ate them all.
Yes,
Nick
yes,
Nick
yes.
did bring us cannolis, but we ate
Yeah.
them before we started.
We ate them before,
recording.
so this way we can drink our wine here.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about the cannoli business.
Yeah,
before
so
we,
I've always
we
wanted
go.
to open a cafe, and the pandemic didn't help that. So we were going to open it in Fairfield, but it didn't work out. But we were always going to have a cannoli bar in the space. And I have to give credit to my wife. She was like,
different feelings.
yeah, just it's make your, not make your own, but kind of think of like a Cold Stone.
Oh, that's right.
but
You were at the.
Correct. I was at your,
And
yeah.
you could put any
all
kind
the
of
toppings and all that stuff. So my wife was like, why don't you do that? And of course, my first reaction, that's stupid. Because my wife said,
Well, of course.
I'm a terrible person. But it was,
think we all
it
are.
was a genius idea. So I literally, that night, I sat up. I was like, okay, how do we do this? We had the cart built and shipped over here from Europe. And we started. So it's a full mobile cannoli cart. We do weddings, parties, events, anything. We did your guys' party for the real estate.
Yeah, that was
so
fun.
all the real estate agents out there, we do open houses, we do everything. But it's basically the make your own cannoli. So I'm there. I hand fill each cannoli for you fresh. You pick your toppings. We have a bunch of different ones. We have seasonal ones, all that kind of stuff. And we have fun doing it. For me, it keeps the culture alive a little bit. My dad came from Sicily in 1955. We try and keep that alive today and well. And I'd like to say we make the best cannolis in the world. To anyone out there listening,
No,
challenge me.
No.
Come, let's come get it.
That'll be the next podcast.
Yeah. We're gonna have a tasting.
You do make really good
Yes,
cannolis,
delicious.
and I remember besides doing our office party, you did one for the town that one year, for at Christmas time, and everybody in Fairfield noticed that. I want to thank you for that, for helping out so much. But the cannolis were great.
Yep. Thank you.
I thought they were great.
Delicious.
Yeah. I was going to
I
say.
paid them both to say that. But
No, we ate them.
We try. Listen, we try and use the freshest stuff. We try and do it the right way. I'm small, so I can do that. So a lot of bakeries, I can't compare to them because they're making millions of cannolis. I make 200-300 for that day.
But
so
they're
we
not
can,
too sweet.
Nope.
Like they're
exactly the
delicious. You
way
can
when
taste
I would
the-
go.
like the fresh ricotta.
Yeah. No, he does good cannoli.
No, I appreciate the shameless plug. So Carrello
No,
Di
it is
Cannoli.
delicious.
Look us
Delicious.
up on Instagram. We're there.
But people do those little carts all the time. Like you see the donut balls, you see this, you see that. But who wouldn't want a cannoli?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Station.
Cannolis are the best.
That's it.
Well, my wine is finished, so
Yes,
on
I
that
I
note.
was slow today. I
Yeah,
had
you
one
guys
sip
were
left.
I was
slow.
trying to be responsible.
That's
here,
because
you
I
know.
talk too much.
And again, this is a night podcast. Remember
Right.
that. We don't do
Correct.
these podcasts during the day, so we're
Never.
allowed to drink the
Never.
wine.
Would
Never. So on that note, one day, and that day will come when you need to sell or buy a house. And when that day does come, you need to call Vito Contuzzi, the godfather of Northern New Jersey real estate.
And when Vito's in Italy and can't get to the phone, you can call Vito. And I'll get the message to him.
Absolutely.
Vito's Consigliere.
Thank you.